I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and we are back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy true crime stories, news, politics, and so much more, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. I really would appreciate it. And if you are a returning listener, subscriber, well, thank you guys, as always, for being a friend. I really appreciate y'all, and please like the video if you like it. Give me a comment, whatever you can do. It really does help me out, and it's a free way to do so. And I thank everyone in advance for watching this video.
You know the thing.
So let's get right into it.
And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. The left, who can't seem to get enough of talking about abortion. And as we all know, Kamala Harris has been campaigning for the past, several weeks because they just shoved her right into that position. And so we just had to watch her play catch up, and she's doing a horrible job of it to begin with. But now it seems that she's been making her rounds on the most friendliest, giving the most softball interviews. And even though she was never elected, she has never accrued any votes whatsoever in the primary or otherwise in a presidential election. And here we are facing down the barrel of a gun, having to choose over this woman and Trump, who has his own issues that I've been getting worse and worse by the day, it seems like. But still, the difference is palpable. And we obviously know that the likes of Kamala Harris would be disastrous for this country. As a woman, it's embarrassing. And I don't even believe in women being president of the United States, because that's just not who we are, okay? It's not who we are. If we want to be a leader, which we obviously, have been, and we're never going to be able to do that with a woman, first of all, and more importantly, a woman like Kamala Harris. So the main thing that I want to talk about with you guys today is the abortion thing. But I wanted to also highlight some of the ridiculous statements that she's been making, and just her as a candidate as a whole, and how bad she truly is. But we're going to get into some lies, because I just really cannot stand to hear these people get up on TV constantly and just, it's just blatant disregard for people's common sense and for people's intelligence to sit up there and try to gaslight and deny what we all know to be true. So there you have Ralph Northam, who was the prior governor of Virginia, basically saying the quiet part right out loud, okay? Talking about a bill that was brought to their legislature, which would allow for not only late-term abortions, which are real and are actually happening in this country, no matter what your left-wing progressive friends tell you, it's happening. And not only is late-term abortion happening, but there are born-alive bills that are also very real and are very much enacted and taking place, where if a baby who is in the process of being aborted, okay, I'm talking about a full baby, these are late-term abortions, a baby's totally viable outside of the mother's womb, and those babies are being aborted and alive and then left to die, okay? So that's also absolutely happening, even though people try to deny it, even though people try to just scream and holler and just totally gaslight you to your face about it. It's real. And so we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to show you some examples of this in real time, guys. So let's get into it. And so before we get into that, guys, I do just want to highlight the 60-minute interview that she did with this. I don't even know who this interviewer was, but this was actually, and it's sad to say this because the state of the media is so horrendous and so bad that you get surprised. You get like pleasantly surprised, and like you start to feel like, you know, somebody should just have their praises sung based on the fact that they gave an interview that wasn't completely biased and out of left field. But this man actually did ask some hard-hitting questions and pushed this woman like she's never been pushed before. And so it was refreshing to see that, because obviously this is what we need to see, because a lot of what she says just makes no sense. And nobody has the balls to sit there and push on her positions and push back on her and really, like, you know, get to the heart of the matter with Kamala Harris, because I don't know, whatever, they're all in the tank for the Democrats and everyone just wants to go against Trump. People have Trump derangement syndrome in the media.
She went on to the U.S. Senate and now vice president. A quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
It's an election, Bill.
What?
And
What?
I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote.
Girl,
this
what?
is an election for President of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves.
Ma'am, are you okay? The question was, why do you think a quarter of all Americans don't know you? What's the disconnect? It's an election, Bill. It's an election. It's an election. What does that mean, ma'am? Can you want to expand? You know, why don't people know what Kamala Harris is all about? Well, it's Wednesday. You know, it's just another day. It's just we're just doing life. We're all here, man. We're in the ethos. We're in the atmosphere. It's like, what are you talking about, ma'am? Okay, great.
A candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it.
Girl.
And that's what I intend to do.
Let me tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States. And I have been traveling our country.
No, you don't say.
And I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus.
Girl, what?
Where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values,
Oh, like you?
to find common sense solutions.
Ma'am, isn't
And
that
that has
what you
been my approach.
Oh, really? So you didn't compromise your values when you went from supporting Medicare for all to now not? And when you went from supporting open borders to now not? Is that not you compromising your values, Miss Lady? I don't know.
Was democracy best served by President Biden stepping down and basically handing you a nomination?
Oh my
You
God.
didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
Oh my God.
President Biden made a decision that
Girl, what?
I think history is going to show
Oh, bitch.
is rare among leaders, which was to put country before self.
And what about you? What decision
And
did you make?
I am proud to have earned the support of the vast majority of delegates and to have been elected the Democratic nominee. I am proud to have received the endorsement of leaders around this country from every background and walk of life to fight in this election over the next month for our democracy.
But I think this truncated process
Yeah.
is why people think
Right.
or say they don't really know who you are.
Exactly.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
Oh my God, 70 whole days? Wow. Wow, you're almost like a seasoned veteran. Okay, ma'am, you earned it. How many wieners did you suck? Okay, is that what you call it these days? Yeah, you didn't earn shit, lady. You didn't even earn your first position in government. Okay, let's be real. Let's thank Slick Dick Willie. Okay, we all know who to blame for you and the comeuppance of Kamala Harris. Okay. Kamala, whatever, Kamala. Which way is the wrong way? Because that's the way I want to say it. I think it's Kamala, because that's the Indian sounding way. I don't know. I don't care. But that's what it is. So let's get into this idiot's interview on this podcast, okay? And it's the Call Her Daddy podcast, which is basically, I'm sure you guys have seen clips already, but I guess it's like a horrors podcast. I really don't know. I don't watch this woman. And I definitely don't listen to this podcast. But from what I've seen, all they talk about is like, you know, ways to like so-called empower women. But really it's just to encourage women to sleep around and to use their bodies as a ways to, you know, gain power over men, or they might call it regain their power. But it's just really the encouragement of degenerate women and the encouragement of this disgusting new wave of feminism that is just, that will resonate with women for generations to come, because of people like Alex Cooper and people like Kamala Harris that promote these degenerate ideas. So let's get into a few of those clips and then we'll talk about it.
Former President Trump recently told women, "You will be protected and I will be your protector."
Thank you.
What do you make of that?
Love it.
So he who, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade.
Girl, what?
And they did just as he intended. And there are now 20 states with Trump abortion bans, including bans that make no exception for rape or incest, which we just discussed, which means that you're telling a survivor of a crime, of a violation to their body, they don't have a right to make a decision about what happens to their body next, which is immoral. So this is the same guy that is now saying that. This is the same guy who said that women should be punished for having abortions. This is the same guy who uses the kind of language he does to describe women.
Okay.
So, yeah, there you go.
What?
I do want to focus on abortion for a moment because 2 years ago, Roe v. Wade was overturned and women lost their constitutional right to an abortion. I put out an episode about it. I flew to North Carolina. Yeah. I went to a preferred women's health center. I met with women that were getting screamed at and chanted at and called baby killers. And it was the most eye-opening experience I've ever had because I am a privileged white woman that lives in Los Angeles and I am so aware of that.
She's so, oh, guys, she's so aware. She is so aware of her privileged white woman status. Privileged white woman from Los Angeles. Okay, there's levels to this shit. Okay, so you know she's aware of that status of who she is, and she's gonna use that status to fight for the rights of women from all over the country, guys, to kill their babies and to not be screamed at. You know, they want to do all the screaming. They want to be the ones shrieking on the streets about how much they love killing their babies. And we've seen this before in real time. So, I mean, is this just a fight over who gets to scream the loudest about, you know, what we do with our babies that we, you know, may or may not want to kill? Like, what are we talking? Why? I will never understand as a woman why this is such a huge issue for people. And I think it really just, it boils down to this, is that in this country, we really are privileged, okay? And I mean that in like the least woke sense of the word. There's no such thing as like white privilege. There's no such thing as any kind of privilege other than American privilege. We really do live in the best country with the most freedoms, the most luxury, the most anything out of anyone who's ever lived on this planet before in history, okay? That's point blank, period. And a lot of us are out here bored, okay? Fighting for whatever cause it is we can find, okay? And so I think that people, it's like the same thing that happened with the whole George Floyd thing. It's like people just want something that's going to give them purpose. And so if they don't have kids, or if they don't have any sort of like, thing going for them, they're just lost in the sauce of like overabundance and overconsumption in this country. We've lost our relationships with God for the most part. A lot of people have, and people have horrible trauma that they've gone through. There's so many kids that are being neglected and abused in this country, and it's like, instead of fighting for things like that, instead of fighting for getting back some of the morality and some of the decency that used to be present, at least in this country, instead of fighting for trying to fix the ones that are broken, that are causing the issues in the society, stopping the perpetuation of child abuse, stopping the perpetuation of child molestation, and all the horrifying human trafficking that goes on, all of the, just completely senseless violence. Instead of making that an issue, people like this, who I can only attribute it to maybe like an incapability of being able to like think in like broader terms, or like really kind of elevate their way of looking at things. All they can think about is like something that's so singular, something that is so individualistic, because abortion is about you and your child. Instead of fighting for like the children of America as a whole, like we can all come together, I think, and really make that an issue that we can all kind of get behind. No, they rather fight for something like abortion because they want to say, you're trying to control me. Because a lot of these people are actually narcissists, is what I've come to find out, is that like they really just only think about themselves, but they don't want to appear as if they're so self-centered that that's all they think about. So instead, they like cloak it in this, oh, women's rights. It's a women's rights issue. And people, men specifically, are out here trying to suppress women's rights when nobody has a right to kill their offspring, okay? That's just not ever been a thing, and hopefully never will be a thing. A lot of you people need to find God. That's all I'm saying. But this is just ridiculous to me, okay? So this woman sitting up here whining about how she was yelled at because she was advocating for women to be able to, in the life of their children, probably at any stage of pregnancy. And she thinks that those are the backwards people, okay?
I understand that a lot of the younger generation sees things online and is like, what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is not. Can you explain and talk about what is actually happening to abortion access right now in this country?
Yeah. So again, I thank you for what you've been doing at the earliest stage of this and following the stories. So, on public policy, I often tell my team, look, I don't want to hear about public policy is a fancy kind of speech or paper. Tell me how it'll affect a real person. So let's talk about how it affects a real person. What? The majority of women who receive abortion care are mothers. So if she's in a state, and by the way, every...
What the fuck is that? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I think she was trying to say that like they're already mothers. But obviously, everyone who receives, what you would call abortion care, which is not a thing, everyone who gets an abortion is obviously a mother because they're a woman, then they're carrying a child, so they're a mother. But the way she worded that was so funny. It's like, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about, I thought she was about to make it a trans thing, but I think it was just worded a little dicey there, Kamala.
State in the South, except for Virginia, has an abortion ban. Okay. So imagine she's in a state with an abortion ban. 1 out of 3 women are, by the way, in our country. Oh my God, and she's a mom. Way. So she's going to have to figure out, one, God help her if she has affordable childcare.
Oh my God.
God help her if she has paid leave.
Oh.
And then she's going to have to
paid leave.
Go to the airport,
No.
Stand in a TSA line.
Shut up.
Sit on a plane next to a perfect stranger.
A perfect stranger? The horror! Do you mean to tell me that if a lady wants to kill her baby, she's got to stand in a TSA line and sit next to a stranger on a plane? Oh my God, guys, did y'all know that this was happening in the country? I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking. I need a safe space.
stranger
Oh
to
my
go to
God.
a city where she's
I'm
never
scared.
been
Oh my God.
to receive the care she needs.
Oh my God.
She's going to probably have to get right back on that plane because she's got those
No.
kids. Her best friend's probably not with her because that's who's taking care of the kids.
Ooh. Oh my God.
To get back in that TSA line, to get back
not
on the
the
plane,
TSA line
to
again.
go home.
Does
And
she have
that's
to sit
all
next to her?
if they can even
wait.
afford.
I need to know. Does she have to sit next to another stranger on the way back? Because if that's the case, then my God, what are we doing to women in this country? This is this is horrifying.
The plane ticket
Exactly.
or the bus ticket.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Because when
Not
Roe v.
a
Wade was
TSA
overturned,
line.
I remember my DMs were flooded with thousands of women.
Who here hasn't been victimized by a TSA line, guys? I mean, look at this face. This is the face of victimization.
Begging me to help, and
Yeah.
it's overwhelming. And I can't even imagine. I'm saying that in front of you, but it's overwhelming. And I remember people begging me, like, I just need to afford a bus ticket so I can get out of this abortion desert that I live in the South, so I can get to a state. But they can't even afford. You know what I mean? So it's like these people
awful.
are literally landlocked
Oh my
into a
God.
position that they don't want to be.
Oh my
And
God.
here's the thing.
How about close your legs?
Here's the thing is that you don't
How about
have to
close your
abandon your
legs?
faith or deeply held beliefs to agree.
You kinda
The
do.
government shouldn't be telling her what to do.
Girl.
If she chooses, she'll talk to her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling you what to do. And that's what's so outrageous about it is a bunch of these guys.
And you know what? She's actually right. And I actually agree with that position. So if the government is not supposed to be telling people what to do with their bodies, then why were there vaccine mandates during COVID, ma'am? Because I seem to recall something about that and people being forced to do things to their bodies that they weren't really wanting to do. And then also on top of that, no less, if the government shouldn't be having any type of say in women wanting to kill their babies, then why are we funding it? Because at the end of the day, that's my position. Okay, I'll tell you guys. My position on abortion, I'm pro-life, okay, 100% in my own personal viewpoint and my own personal ideology is pro-life. No matter what, obviously, the idea of being raped and then carrying a child to term from that experience is daunting and horrifying as anything else. But I just think that there's a reason if a child is created, it's created. But that's my own personal ideology. I do, however, believe that abortion should be made available in this country, because otherwise you'll have dangerous procedures and back alley. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants women doing dangerous things to themselves in order to try to kill babies. I mean, people have, there's a will, there's a way. We know this to be true. So there should be a safe avenue for women who want to do that, but there should be a cutoff point. It should be only during the first trimester, and the government should have absolutely nothing to do with it. There should be no say from the government. There should be no funding from the government. So that means Planned Parenthood can be funded on its own. That means that there should be no subsidies for, government aid for women who want to kill their babies. And it should be cut off. I'm sorry, if you come in 6 months pregnant, you're shit out of luck at that point. I'm sorry. What are we doing here? And at that point, it's like, why would we allow something like that? Why is that? At what point does it become murder to people? I mean, because in my eyes, it's murder from day one. But I know that that's a radical position, and I know that a lot of people don't share that position. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, because to me, at what point do you guys consider it to be not okay? At what point do you guys consider it to be too far along to allow something like that? Because if we're allowing late-term abortions, but then let's say a mother gives birth and takes their baby home and then kills it the day that it goes home with her, that woman will go to jail for the rest of her life. Make it make sense.
Guys up in these state capitals are writing these decisions because they somehow have decided that they're in a better position to tell you what's in your best interest than you are to know what's in your own best interest.
You know what?
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
It is
I mean, Daddy
outrageous.
Gang, to put it in our TikTok terms, I have seen girls on the street walk up to men and be like, do you know where a tampon goes? Do you know how many tampons we use?
What?
Do you
You've
even know
seen
how,
what?
do you know what
Who's doing that?
X or Y or Z is of a part of our, and they don't know the answer.
I was the first.
Girl, you mean to tell me that you girls are out here going up to men and asking them where to shove your tampons. You people are... Find God.
Vice president or president to ever in office go to a reproductive health care clinic.
God, wow.
Ever.
Here's a cookie.
Really? Yes.
I didn't know that, but I guess that makes sense.
To your point.
And yet the men are making the decisions about our bodies.
And here's the other thing about this point, it's about IVF treatments and access. It's about access to contraception, which is very much at risk with these folks.
Oh, right.
It is about, back to the point about reproductive health clinics. You know what those clinics also do? They do PAPs. They do breast cancer screenings. They do HIV testing. And they're having to close in many places with these bans. So think about the fact that for anyone who has gone to one of these clinics, you understand that it is sometimes the most trusted place where people receive that kind of health care, because they walk into those places that are generally staffed by people who create a safe place for people to come in without judgment. So anyone seeking any kind of reproductive health care and wanting to go to a place where they feel safe and without judgment, these clinics have often been the place that people can go. And many of them are having to close because of these laws.
I was raised Catholic, and abortion is a sin. And when I put out that episode, I had a lot of women reach out to me saying like, wow, I live in the South and I never thought about it that way. Like maybe I am pro-choice because I won't.
I'm sure your parents are very disappointed, ma'am. I will pray for your conversion back to the faith. So yeah, that whole interview was an absolute and utter shit show. There's more to it. There's more lies that came out. They basically talked, I think, about abortion the whole entire time. This was basically the gist of the whole thing.
I do want to clarify something. In the debate, former President Trump claimed that some states are executing babies after birth. Can you just clarify?
That is not happening anywhere in the United States. It is not happening, and it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie.
And by the way, for the first 6 years of my career, I was pro-choice, and I did abortion on demand. First, second, and third trimesters. I'm out late one night on labor and delivery. 2 women come in, same gestational age, 23 weeks, same diagnosis, early labor. In one room, the mother wanted it. In the very next room, I walked in and all I heard was, "Get it out of me. Do you want it? No. Can I ask? No." It's abortion on demand, remember. I did it. Broke water, gave her medicine, pitted the baby out. I caught it in a bucket. She didn't want it. I didn't want it. The hospital didn't want it. It came out alive, squeaking, crying. I took a towel and I started trying to suffocate the fetus. But my intention was good. I didn't want the mom to suffer, but it wouldn't stop. So I said, I'm just going to turn it face down. And I grabbed it by the head.
Wow.
It's a little heavy for me. I threw it on the scale. 5 grams over 500 grams. I had to call the neonatal doctors to come in. That night, that doctor came in and she quickly analyzed what happened. She knew I didn't take care of her patient for the hour and a half that it was in labor. She said, "Stop treating my patients as tumors. You're better than this." What I'm trying to tell you is that abortion is brutal.
So that man should be in prison. I mean, is that not murder? I don't know. That's a 23-week-old baby. That's not even like the worst of it. That's not even like there's people don't believe this, but there's people who are doing abortions at 9 months. That is true. That is absolutely 100% happening. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to want to believe it, but it is true.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has signed the Protect Reproductive Options, or PRO Act, into law today. It establishes reproductive freedom as a fundamental right for every Minnesotan. More than 100 lawmakers joined the governor as he signed that bill.
So to Minnesotans, know that your access to reproductive health and your right to make your own healthcare decisions are preserved and protected. And because of this law, that won't change with the political winds or the makeup of the Supreme Court. This is a bill for Minnesotans today and all future generations.
The governor said today, last November, Minnesotans spoke loud and clear. They want their reproductive rights protected, not stripped away.
It is diabolical to sign an abortion bill, allowing for late-term abortions up until birth with children next to you. I mean, just demonic in nature in every freaking way.
Delegate Tran.
Yes, sir.
How late in a pregnancy would your bill apply if a physician would simply willing to certify that the continuation of the pregnancy would impair the mental health of the woman? How late are we talking about?
Well, so the way the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the third trimester and at the, with the certification of the physician. So
how late in the third trimester would you be able to do that?
It's very unfortunate that our physicians,
She doesn't want to say it.
Our witnesses were not able to attend today to speak
Just
specifically.
say
No,
it,
I'm talking about
devil.
your bill. How late in the third trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he
Stand on
indicated it would
business,
impair the
bitch.
mental health of the woman?
Or physical health.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health.
Answer the question.
So, through the third trimester. The third trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. But to the end of the third trimester.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
So
You don't think? Didn't you write it? These people. Demonic.
where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth, she has physical signs of that she is about to give a birth, would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified?
Hello?
She's dilating.
Ma'am?
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would
I understand
make at
that. I'm
that
asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Disgusting. So what he just said, if a woman is dilating, okay, on the verge of giving natural birth, can you then decide to just abort your baby? And for mental health reasons, okay, so that means I'm not feeling too great. I'm a little depressed today, and I don't really feel like having this baby. It's going to make me anxious. Get rid of it. Yeah, that's okay for this devil. This absolute... and look how uncomfortable they both are. That this woman and the woman standing here behind her, they can't even say what it is they're putting into law. Okay? They can't even say it with their whole chest. It's like, if you don't believe in this, if you're not ready to just put it out there, what you believe, what you're putting into law, then go back home and reevaluate your whole entire life. Because what are you doing up here? Pussyfooting around a bill that you wrote, acting like you don't know what the hell he's asking you, dodging every question to the best of your ability, poorly, might I add. It's just very, very disgusting behavior, because most people who are pro-life can answer those questions, with their whole chest, with a full-throated nature of being able to account for their positions. These people, no matter how much they claim to love it, get really squirmy, get really antsy whenever you really push them on their positions. And they get into denialism like Kamala Harris, saying that this doesn't happen. Or they get squirmy like this bitch and try to divert and find every way around answering the question that they can until they're forced into a corner. So I'm just going to play a couple more clips for you guys and then we'll get on out of here. I did want to show you guys this though. This is from World Population Review, late-term abortion laws by states in 2024. And as you can see, there are 7 states in this country that allow for abortion up until the 9th month with absolutely no restrictions. Alaska, Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, New Jersey, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And then there are other states that have different allowances. This chart is a bit confusing because there's like so many small differences between all the other categories. But, basically most of the other states are to protect the mother's life or physical health. And that could mean including mental health or whatever have you. Every law differs based on state. But it's alarming to me that late-term abortions with no restrictions whatsoever are allowed in 7 states.
I'm sorry, what? I'm going to call an abortionist for you, ma'am. I thought you'd be happy about that. Where's that? Here.
Call an abortionist. What does that mean?
Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry I don't have this ready for you.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
William
You don't know what
Hearn.
abortionist means, ma'am?
Boulder Abortion Clinic. Let's see, call now. I got 2 bars. This could work. Let's see.
Ew, her face. Girl, get out the way. Look at this lady. Look at this boomer.
He might still be.
Ma'am.
Answering service. How may I help you?
Hi, yeah, I just figured out I was pregnant today, and I'm like really far along. Like I'm like 30 weeks. Can I schedule an abortion with you all?
Let me see if I can help with this. One moment here.
This lady all up in the shot.
Give me one moment. I mean, right now you're calling the answering service, so I can't actually schedule that appointment. What I can do is route this, like put in the request and just have the office call you back.
Sure, that's fine. Do you, on the website here, it says, trying to see what the website says 3rd trimester abortion, so I guess that would be, yep.
Accurate, yeah.
It is accurate. Okay, thank you so much.
Imagine putting that on your website. Crazy work.
Not just stress.
What counts as a medical need in your view? I mean, if the woman is really stressed about her pregnancy,
I
qualify
think
her
it
for
has to get more to the point of depression, not just stress. And it fit within my confidence of what we could do safely, I would do that.
Right up until when? Late 38 weeks, 39 weeks?
I don't know.
That you're not comfortable saying?
I'm not going to say.
They never are.
Yeah. To the fetus, it makes no difference whether it's born or not born.
Excuse me?
The baby has no input in this as far as I'm concerned.
But it's interesting that you use the word baby because a lot of abortionists won't use that. They'll use the word fetus because they don't want to acknowledge that there's a life.
So I think that it is a baby, and I use it with the patients.
And you don't have a problem with
Absolutely
killing
not.
a baby?
I have no problem if it's in the mother's uterus.
Oh, wow.
What counts as...
Did Satan tell you to say that, sir? Because you are giving possessed, okay? My God. What is wrong with these people? So, as long as it's in the mother's as long as it's in the mother's uterus, then yeah, let's go ahead and murder it. You know, the second it breaches the birth canal and is officially what you would call born. That's a bridge too far though. But anything up until that, you're okay with. Okay, got it.
Thank you for calling, Karen. How can I help you?
I'm looking to have an abortion.
How far along are you?
I'm 34 right now. I am in a pretty desperate situation. My boyfriend is kind of out of the picture now, so I don't really have any support.
An abortion at any stage is actually much safer than delivering a term pregnancy. It's a 4 to 5 day procedure. We do some basic lab work on you and start to dilate your cervix. After that, we do what we call the fetal injection. A needle is inserted through the abdomen and into the fetal heart where lidocaine is injected, and that will completely numb the fetus so there's no pain. And then after that, we inject a medication called digoxin and another medication called KCL into the fetal heart, which will slow and then stop the fetal heartbeat. And then on that 4th day, depending on how your cervix is dilated, we'll break your water, and then we'll give you a medication called misoprostol. Misoprostol will sort of induce contraction and increase the dilation of your cervix. You're going to have contractions and cramping, and then we'll assist you in sort of pushing in the induction and then remove all of the products of conception.
All of the products of conception.
And cramping and a lot of pressure, but we do give you fentanyl and Versed during the procedure. We specialize in later trimester care. Our doctor is very well versed in what he's doing, and he's very good.
So I'm not like a rare situation. Y'all help women this late in pregnancy all the time?
All the time.
All the time, she says. All the time. Another bitch for the devil, okay? How can these people live with themselves? And what you call it, products of conception? You remove the product. You mean the baby? You mean the baby? The baby? You remove the baby? Okay, so I can't. This type of thing makes me ill. Honestly, it makes me very sick and disgusted, not only for the people who are choosing to be active participants in this, but for our country as a whole and for the soul of humanity, honestly, because this is not, God does not take kindly to this whatsoever. You know, people wonder why there is like, you know, people, when people question God, you know, like when people say like, oh, how can you say that there's a God when all these bad things happen? Well, like, God gives us free will. And look at what some people choose to do with their free will. You think that that makes him happy? You think that that makes, you know, any sort of effect onto the world as a whole and to other people who also have free will? It's like, at some point, free will also, you know, includes personal responsibility. And so God is not here to save all of humanity for, you know, he already did that once. He did that by sending his only son. He did that. Okay, so now we kind of have to do a little bit of the legwork ourselves, okay? That's the point in having a soul and trying to redeem your soul and eventually get to heaven or get to eternal life. So it's just, it's a disgusting situation that we find ourselves in by not only choosing to allow this sort of thing to go on in multiple states in the country. People treat it like it's no big deal. People treat it like it is a right, no less, for women. People treat it as if it's like something to be celebrated now. There used to be a term that Democrats would say, safe, legal, and rare. And that would be the way that people should think of abortion. Now it's like, it's become almost like promoted as something that people should want to partake in. And people like gleefully talk about killing their babies. Like now it's like to the point where it's kind of become an irony talking point where, you know, if you see some of these people who have these discussions with pro-choice activists or like pro-abortion activists, that they'll like happily admit that yes, they know they're killing babies, just like that man, that doctor. They know what they're doing and they're okay with it. They are okay with it. So next time someone tries to gaslight you about this, just let them know they're full of shit. And I think a lot of people in this country just aren't educated on the facts of abortion. They just go along with the mainstream media, whatever it is that they say, whatever talking point they decide to go with that day, and the lies that are spewed, that's what they do. Okay, again, the media is the number one enemy of the American people now and forevermore until we get rid of them and start from scratch. But I want to know what you guys think. So please let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more like this. I would really appreciate it. I know my videos have been kind of sparse lately, but I'm trying to get back on a schedule or some sort of like regularity with that. But it's rough out here, guys. But I do appreciate everyone for watching, and until next time, I will see y'all later. Bye.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.